Welcome one, welcome all to another episode of the Chop Sports Podcast with your host, Sturch and Gooch is over there in the comfort of his own home. We're doing this again. We are back to square one here on the podcast. Look, let's call it how we see it. All right. COVID-19 is a bitch. And every time we think we're just getting a little ahead, it just creeps on back in. And Chris, unfortunately, was around somebody relatively close. So we're just doing the right thing. We're doing the safe thing.
Exposed to the pandemic.
Yeah,
you
are the pandemic.
Now I am the pandemic. So nobody could come near me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just rot down here until I guess next week we'll be back in the studio.
Yeah, next week will be fine. But again, we wanted to play on the side of caution. We think that's the right idea and it's the right thing to do. Luckily, the timing and the contact tracing doesn't link me, so I'm okay. You're not, so that's why you're there.
You're
fine. You're fine.
Fine. I mean, right. I have several other issues mentally, physically, but other than that, no pandemic running through me just yet.
Yeah. So hopefully that all plans out. We'll be good to go next week back in the studio. But a crazy week leading up into this. There was a lot of things that went down that basically, we're trying our very hardest to get this thing off the ground. And as you're listening to this, tomorrow, Monday, March the 8th, our store is open. So the soft open happened. There are still some particles out there in transit. All the hoodies that people ordered are still in transit. They're coming from Germany. So they're going to be coming a little. I mean, look, it's been a week. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy.
It's not even been a week, I don't think. I think it's been 5 days.
Right. So I'm not going nuts over that. I'm not worried about it. But the store does open tomorrow. Get your stuff. Get your shirts, your hoodies. Dude, first of all, kudos. I know you're rocking one now. I'm rocking the sample that we got because I haven't ordered any yet for myself. But, dude, first of all, kudos. They'll see it tomorrow. But, man, that Punch-Out Chop Sports T-shirt, it's hard. It is hard. I'm getting one. That is one of the
Chop Gamer Tee.
Yeah, that is definitely.
My nephews want one too, so you could get all your kids a Chop Sports Gamer Tee.
Basically, if you ever seen, it's right behind me actually in the corner. Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
I'm looking behind me. I'm like, wait, we're not in the same place. So
my corner, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Really good thoughts behind that. It was inspiring. That was the inspiration behind the shirt. So that's definitely cool. I can't wait to check that out. I'm also going to get myself a Healthy Scratch t-shirt because when we came up with that idea, I was like, dude, that's hilarious. Because look, if you see yourself out there and you see a guy wearing a Healthy Scratch t-shirt, if you're a sports fan, you know what that is. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's pretty funny. If you're not a sports fan, you're like, what?
Load management t-shirt coming soon.
Yes. Load management, dude. I'm telling you, these shirts, they're going to be such a hit. And I'm so glad to be, opening this store and getting all the kinks worked out. And look, we got the bank account. We sat down with that really nice woman last week, got ourselves a bank account, which by the way, the debit cards are not here yet, Chris. So in the studio, they are not here yet.
So we might have to make the store open Tuesday. Just so we're clear.
We'll be fine. We got plenty of, dude, I didn't know, I'm glad we educated ourselves as far as what it entails, the cycle that is retail, but I had no idea. So in any event, so that's going down. The store's opening tomorrow. Basically, last night, first of all, we went UFC live because of all the stuff that transpired with Chris. We were planning on coming here in the studio and teaming up with DJ VW next door, which I know, Chris, you want to get to them in a second, as far as a little something, a little present. But we were going to team up with them and watch the UFC fight, but we couldn't. So obviously, me and Chris took it upon ourselves. We jumped on Facebook Live together, and we had over 500 views, a lot of comments, a lot of guys and girls chiming in on the fight last night. We'll get into 259 in just a little bit, but Chris, my man, I mean, we like them next door. They're our buddies.
Dude, they're bringing crazy energy into the studio right now. Okay, so we'll lay the premise out.
Paint the picture for the people at home, Chris.
Everybody saw the fight over the what was it? The Oklahoma football player, right?
Right. In the bathroom.
That got yoked up by this
Right.
little dude. So
Right.
the premise was you never know somebody who's trained. You just don't fuck with people in the street.
You don't know.
So basically, what I was understanding is that under 5 minutes, Corbo's going to choke me out.
So
Now he has no choice, and they put 500 up. I mean, I was contemplating bringing my mats last night, but
I mean, he's got another week to live, really, if you think about it. I can't believe that they would go that far. I mean, they don't.
Level of disrespect, dude.
Chris, the problem is this. They don't know who you are. You know what I'm saying? They've
like literally, they're making the same exact mistake that they're saying that these football players.
Right. So that's counterproductive.
He said 6 months of training. I would ball up 6 months of training and stick it in his dick, dude. Come on now. Let's be real. It's not happening. I'll let him start on my back.
Oh my God. So you're giving him like positioning and everything.
I love Corbo though, man. It's like
right. So
probably
we're
the most easygoing guys in the group.
Really
now
is.
It's like, why are you bringing his energy to me, dude? I have anxiety over this.
You know what it would have been? You know what it would have? This is where it got me. It was one thing to put it on their podcast, but it was another thing for them to reiterate it on a text chain.
Since the recording of that podcast, I've done like 3,000 push-ups. I wonder how many Corbos done.
I don't know, man. He's got kettlebells now. So
in the words of David Goggins, you do not know me, son. Come on now, bro. You don't know me, son.
So that was happening. But look, a shout out to those guys. They're doing great things at DJVW. But listen, look, we're all about the entertainment industry. If you want to set this up, here's the thing. And I'll tell you this. I'll give it to you like this, Dave Corbo. The problem is this. If you set this up and you want to do this, there will be no like,
yeah,
hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm gonna Nate.
He's gonna turn into a stone cold killer.
Here's the reason why, and I'm sure he could relate to this because there's a couple of, if this is true, then that's true situations. Meaning, like, I was there when we were talking about the other guy that he fought, and there wasn't great things said. I don't want that one of those situations to turn out to be what happens with me and him. Now that said, he said it on air. You know what I mean? Now I'm like,
yeah, that's where I was like,
I have to at least address it. And
this is addressing it. So we'll maybe just put that on pause.
So if we agree to it, like, it's going to be super awkward because once we agree to compete, then it's like, you know, we're going to try and embarrass each other. I'm imagining they're trying to do this for clicks. I'm trying to fight Tom Brady, not necessarily trying to fight my business partner. But like I said, I was called out and told that I would be choked out in under 5 minutes. Come on, bro.
He said, listen, he said business partner. Level
I'll
Up.
tell you right now, Jay was talking
NJ.com.
about 500. He was talking about putting up 500. If Vegas put odds on this fight, it's not even money. And that's not a fight, right? It's a grappling match. We're not talking about fighting, are we?
I mean, I don't think you guys are going to be throwing fists.
No, that's crazy.
I mean, he said that he could choke you out. So it's grappling. And if he's got Jay in his corner, who just, I mean, look, Jay's got a lot of experience, but he also you couldn't hear anybody else on that film other than Jay yelling at Dave on instructions on that one fight, the brawl in the fall that these guys had. So I digress. We will let it go now. You said your piece. We're good. So now we move forward. You know,
and speaking of grappling, though, big shout out to Paz, baby, from Seatown, from Colonia, New Jersey, wrestling in the Big Ten tournament. He killed it yesterday.
Absolutely.
Had a tough loss in the semis, but wrestled back today, and he's wrestling for third place. He won this morning, and I believe literally as we're recording this podcast right now, Paz is probably lining up to wrestle.
And we will be having Paz on the podcast. We announced it earlier, like real earlier. But again,
he's busy doing big boy things right now.
He's busy slamming guys onto the mat. You know, just unbelievable, humble kid too. From what we've read and what we've seen, and all the coaches and everybody that said something about this kid, he's something special. So shout out to Paz and congratulations for all the progress and the success.
I believe today is the 1 year anniversary of his state championship.
It is.
It is. And shout out to the Grassos. You know, huge deal getting us all these connections. They got you. What was the guy?
Jesse Holly.
Jesse Holly for your Boys podcast.
Yeah, Jesse Holly came on board, man.
Grasso family. We keep shouting them out, but rightfully so.
It's just good people. And that's exactly what Holly said too. He was like, that family is just made of good people. So Thank you very much for that. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this week's podcast, we do also want to say that we are launching the Chop Sports Podcast Network, meaning obviously you have us on Monday nights. Sunday nights, used to be Mondays. Sunday nights, we're going to have another guy in studio tomorrow night to record possibly his first episode. We cannot and we will not disclose until he's here. So, because I'm tired of announcing about things and then just not coming to fruition.
I can make an announcement though. We've got an MMA podcast coming out in April.
There you go. In
Me
April,
and my boy Tommy D teaming up with Chop Sports is teaming up with Fightbook MMA. If you haven't checked them out ever, they got a huge following on international following, really. Tommy D's got a podcast over there, the Pride Rules podcast. I used to be on original member of that podcast way back. So we're kind of rekindling an old thing that we did. This time it's just me and Tommy, and that should be rolling out in April.
Yeah, so that'll be one. We're also going to have Mr. Evan Daniel, who is bringing us Painting the Black podcast. It's a baseball podcast. Massive Yankees fan.
Still worked up, bro. I'm still worked up from that like that like pre-fight shit. Like I feel like I'm about to fight somebody, and he's like my friend. It's fucking
man. Which he says friend, business partner. LevelUpStudiosNJ.com, I believe, is being worked on right now. That's where I'm at. That's where those guys are at. That's where we're at every single week. We're going to be offering our services, our facility. Get over here. You got to check out the backgrounds, the backdrops, the green screens, the mics, the lighting, the everything you can ask for in content creation. We got it. We got it here at Level Up Studios. So inquire within. I've been talking to another guy via DM, a friend of mine named Matt. He might bring his crew over here. They do comic books, which is like, again, whole nother world, but shit, why not? You know what I mean? So definitely check Level Up Studios out right now, currently on Facebook and Instagram, as we level up and we get everything going on. So speaking of the UFC pay-per-view last night, lackluster, I would say, Chris. I mean, $70.
The best part of that fucking card was our Facebook Live with like
it really was
16.
Yeah. I mean, we had 20 people at a time just watching us talk shit about the UFC, and then we would get off topic and then we get back on topic. But we were both watching the same pay-per-view. And
shout out to Maui Mike with the he gave me the beef chips, bro. He sent me, remember I called out Maui Mike, let me get some macadamia nuts. He's like, I got you one better. I owe him some Entenmann's now, though. I got to send him some cupcakes and cookies to Hawaii.
From the exchange?
From the motherland. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that, and we had Jorge came on, and he was a blast. That dude is a funny guy.
That's my old roommate.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
So I did not know that. See, there it is. So the Facebook Live was great, but getting back to the pay-per-view itself, they stacked 3 title fights at the back end, in which the wrong order, according to me and Gooch, because we think that Nunes should have fought as the first title fight, because by the time her fight was going on, I was half one eye shut.
Yeah,
I cannot,
like 70 times.
I can't understand the logic behind the UFC. I understand they're in Vegas. I understand there's a time difference, but what is the harm in starting their pay-per-view at like 5:00 in the afternoon out there? What is the harm? You're going to get the same crowd. You got no crowd. It's a pay-per-view. So you're telling me what? That nobody wants to be at home at 5:00? Is that what the thing is?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So we got to suffer. We got to suffer at 10:00 at night. We're starting a pay-per-view. And by the time the first of the 3 main events,
everything in the whole world is like basically tailored for the East Coast of the United States. And we're complaining about the UFC right now, but we get our way with literally everything else. Football. Could you imagine having to wake up at 9 a.m. to watch your team?
I would love that.
I personally would love it because I'm up anyway, but
right.
There's been points in my life where there was no way that I would be happy with that.
You got to see the reaction when I tell my dad how many primetime games we have. He gets so mad.
Yeah, I hate Thursday night more than anything.
Well, because Thursday nights, you want to talk about player safety, Thursday nights shouldn't exist. Okay. Like, you want to play games on Thanksgiving? Sure. But then you give them 10 days off.
I say it all the time. Sunday, 1:00. Give me that.
Yeah. All day, every day. I'll take that. But sorry, we're getting on a tangent here of the NFL schedule. But anyway, we did see some crazy action in one of the fights with the illegal/intentional knee to the dome. That's not my gripe. My gripe is with the UFC.
That was good. You're good with the knee, the illegal knee.
listen, guys will be guys. Guys could be dirty. That's going to happen, right? I mean, that's going to happen. That's a fight, okay? What I have a gripe with is the medical staff and the referee
What the fuck
just
was that?
just hovering
He
over a
was
dead
laying
body.
down 5 minutes. I couldn't hear the commentary because we were doing the Facebook Live thing, but what the fuck was going on? What
Bro,
could they have possibly been saying?
Right.
Are you good? Like, I don't
He
know.
couldn't
Like,
get to a knee, bro. He couldn't get
what
to
is
a
the
knee.
fighter supposed to say? They have to do something different in that spot. They can't just keep asking the fighter because you have an obligation to not look like a pussy.
True.
And when they're asking you and like it's completely empty in the arena, you hear everything. It's like, are you okay? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm laying down. I just got knee in the head. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, you talk about like concussion protocol. It was almost as if they were giving the option to the kid. Like the fighter should not have that option.
No.
You're on Queer Street. You can't see a damn thing in front of you. And they're just like, come on. Come on. You could do it. Come
Bro,
on.
they were
like,
holding
I'm like,
him
what are we waiting for?
They were holding
here?
him up at the as they were raising his hand. His coach was like,
he's got one arm with the coach, one arm with the decision maker, and we're just like, he's hanging. He's like, weekend at Bernie's, bro. Just
so
chilling.
to address the post fight, obviously the whole thing that went down. I don't think that Sterling was acting with the knee. He got fucked up with that knee. No question.
Anybody would.
And even if he didn't get knocked out, there's no reason why he should have to continue to fight by any stretch. I don't know about the win because it's hard to get in someone's head.
How do you give somebody a fucking title?
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to get in someone's head to know if it was intentional. Just by the way things went, it seemed pretty intentional. But supposedly Khabib said one of his coaches yelled knee. So he was just listening to his coach. And like, I don't know. Either way, funny after the fight was Sterling. I'm not saying he was acting, but I'm saying he was kind of acting.
I'm Sterling's tears, by the way.
Yeah,
like come on, man. Shout out to Keith Ernst.
They
just
didn't exist. Sterling was crying, but he didn't have any tears, and he had like that voice. It was like he was consciously altering his voice, and I don't want to talk shit.
Wait. It's like from Step Brothers, like, all right,
yeah. he was like, I just hate that. Like, this is what, and a lot goes into it because I don't want to talk shit. Aljo is one of my favorite fighters, and he was probably emotional, and he was kind of fucked up. But I just think that he played on that a little too much. And Jan, after the fight,
no remorse.
Well, he was like, I apologize. I spell healthy, speedy recovery to the champ. I made a big mistake and I paid for it. And then like later on, Sterling posted another picture with him smiling, holding the belt. He was like, and then Jan made another Instagram post like, I guess the champ is okay again. I guess he's all better now.
Oh my God. See, I didn't see any of that shit. That's
unless
great.
it was like some fake, as shopped as it gets, bullshit with his, some fake meme, but I'm pretty sure it was real.
Wow. That would be, I mean, look, it's obvious they're going to go again.
Yeah, but it's
obvious.
It's obvious they're going to go again because right now, probably the wrong guy is champ.
Right.
Jan.
Right. Now, what did they try? They tried to explain to him that the scorecards were showing that he was winning the fight or losing the fight.
Well, Jan was winning the fight, but I think that what it was,
if you take the point away,
you took the point away at that point, then it could have flipped things a little bit. But I'm pretty sure there was another round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That he would have also lost that round because he was.
In any event, that was the one that stood out to me. And of course, Amanda Nunes, she goes and beats up a tomato can like this. What are we doing here? Like what's next for her? Yeah. Was she gonna fight a dude next? Like, what are we doing here?
I mean,
right? Like, what are we doing?
I literally was like, I have my notes right here about Amanda Nunes, and it's like I don't have anything for it. Did she fight two people at once?
Right? Handicap match. Just fight like it's a scene out of a street fight. But yeah, I mean, look, she's run through every single person that's gone in her way. Last night, no different. There was
literally nobody else that draws excitement.
There was not 1 ounce of me, not 1 ounce of my being that thought that girl had a shot last night. You know what I mean? Like, you just
at this point, you want to think that like Nunes will probably just try and find someone to box.
Possibly, yeah.
But like, is there even a female boxer out there right now? What's that one? I think it was Clarissa something. She's now training to fight MMA. But
is Ali's daughter still at it?
Say it again.
I said, is Ali's daughter still at it or no?
No,
too long ago.
Yeah, that's
before my time.
done.
Main event. That was the one that everybody kind of had, it was kind of up in the air. People just couldn't pick a side. I was pulling for Izzy, but I just don't think that I don't know. It was almost as if it's not that he didn't care. Obviously he cares, but I mean, like, it was very lackluster performance after a first couple rounds where just like, are you going to go for the jugular here, or are you just going to kind of sit back? And I think that's what happened.
Well, I think that he was also confused by the fact that he just wasn't really hurting him. A, B, early in the fight, I think Izzy was kind of doing well. He won the first 2 rounds, or at least the first round, he definitely won. And then I just think Blachowicz changed up the game plan. And once he took him down, he realized, like, okay, he can't get up. There's nothing he could do from here.
He was smothering him.
Yeah, it was just not big enough for the division. You got to put on a little more weight, I guess. I don't know, man. Izzy didn't look himself, but Blachowicz looked great. So it turned out to be it actually turned out to be a pretty dominant performance. I was surprised. I thought Izzy would actually win a decision. I didn't think he would knock him out because that dude's got to hit him with a fucking sledgehammer.
Right.
But what's next for Izzy now? He goes back and fights Whitaker. What's next for Blachowicz? Glover Teixeira.
Oh God.
John Jones leaving that division really fucks everything up. Like, I have no interest whatsoever in light heavyweight right now.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw the best of the best, and if that's
Can't
the
blame
best of the
Jones
best,
for
it's
leaving. You can't blame him for leaving. There was nothing to get up for in that division. Santos, the guy that like took Jones the distance, just got the shit beat out of him. Didn't get the shit, but he lost to a nobody. I wouldn't say a nobody, but generally speaking,
right.
No disrespect. Who in 205 is even worthy at this point besides Blachowicz? And he's
maybe they run it back.
Is he in Blachowicz?
Yeah.
But then what happens with the middleweight belt? You got to do something. It's like all the super fight shit is fucking things up.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Izzy said he was going right back down, and he said that he's going to just go dominate that division. Kudos to him for having a plan, but it's because you got to this division and said, I can't do this, because again, size matters in the UFC, and he was definitely smothered.
John Jones talking crazy, not crazy. He had a lot of good points after, saying like, if you ever said to me in a tweet that Izzy would beat me, slap the shit out of yourself right now. Then he said, I guess the super fight's over. I mean, it's a little premature to say that it's over. Izzy's 20-1.
Right. Right.
He easily bounced back. He didn't look hurt after it.
You speak of John Jones, man. I still want to see him. I don't know why. I guess I'm always just drawn to seeing John Jones and DC go at it, but we all know what John Jones is after. Obviously the winner of whatchamacallit.
Yeah, that's announced. Yeah. I think that he's getting the winner of the Ngannou Stipe fight. I think that John Jones is obviously the most talented fighter in the game right now, and I have a hard time picking anybody to beat him. But man, Ngannou hits hard.
He's a monster. He's an absolute monster.
That uppercut. I don't know, John.
All right. Well, it remains to be seen. That's why they get in the cage, and that's why they do their work. But yeah. So UFC 259, lackluster at best. I want to say there was some moments where we were enjoying it, but overall, like that card that they hyped up, 3 title matches, you're all hyped up for it. Basically they took $140 away from me and Gooch because we both legally purchased the pay-per-view. Giving that money to the UFC. But yeah, look, not all the fights can be just complete knockouts. There were no knockouts the entire night.
I appreciate it for what it is. The guys that all make the walk, respect. Who was the guy that stole the show? Islam. I can't pronounce his last name but the Russian dude,
Khabib's guy.
Yeah, he stole the show. He choked out Dober.
Yeah, did I not text you that prior? I said Dober just has this look on his face that like, I'm going to lose.
No, he was like, I'm gonna.
He's got that nervous, that nervous smile where he's just like, yep, here we go. I'm gonna do this, and then just get. I knew that.
And I gotta say this too, man. Is it me or DC's kind of annoying with his?
Oh God,
his in-fight.
I just feel like, what he reminds me of? Not even kidding you, Booger McFarlane. Like, he's just like stating the obvious, like, oh,
if he taps out right here, that means that he lost by submission, Joe.
Right.
Like,
he got 9 yards on that carry, and that means only one more for the first down. Like, oh, thanks, Booger. Back to you. But yeah, no, DC gets super annoying. And Joe Rogan, my God, I'm a fan of his podcast. I'm a fan of his work. He's an inspiration to me. But dude, get off the test, my man. You are starting to resemble a straight thumb, like that right here is Joe Rogan.
yeah, shout out. Was it Brennan Scott made the post? Like, if Joe Rogan needs to lay off the HGH, I think he said he was like,
that's
starting to look like a thumb.
Yeah, he looks like a
Fucking
thumb.
great.
And yeah, I mean, that's just, again. But you know what? You said the Russian stole the show. You know who stole the show? It was right before the pay-per-view when Dominic Cruz won his fight.
Hans Smolenkamp or whatever.
He's literally issuing
Monster
a
Energy
challenge. He's issuing a challenge to the Monster Energy guy. He's 100 pounds heavier. He's like, let's just do it for charity, man. Let's do it for charity.
I looked into that whole situation, and
so what is the
point.
Monster? Is Monster getting held? Are they holding up UFC contracts or something?
It's not Monster. It's this guy. I think he's like an ambassador. Does works for the company. I don't know. Dana White addressed it in the post fight and was basically saying Monster's a great company. They do a lot for the fighters, but this guy's a fucking weirdo. And basically he doesn't really want to comment too much because Monster and them have a deal. What this guy does with UFC fighters is technically nothing to do with it, but he's kind of holding the money over their head, making, I don't know. Dominic Cruz is acting weird.
Yeah, but the best part about the entire thing was Joe Rogan. Like, oh, we didn't want this to turn political. He's like, it's not political, Joe. He's like, no, it is. And then cut off. Like, by the way, goodbye. So unbelievable. So UFC 259, obviously UFC 260 is next. A bunch of fight nights in between that. We'll definitely resume some of these Facebook Live things. They were fun. We'll do them from the studio. It'll probably be a lot more fun doing it like that. But before we wrap all of this up, we have triggered, Gooch. We have triggered the Mets fans of Chop Sports. Mets Nation. I've gotten DMs. I've gotten messages, comments on threads. There are people out there that are coming for our Yankee heads. Like as you did it. Yes, sir. Matt Ibanez. Matt Ibanez is one of the biggest Mets fans that I know. And I've known him for a long, he's a massive, like, he basically is me and you dialed down just a little bit, but he's there in terms of being a sports fan. He rocks his Mets and he loves his
guarantee you that
he loves his Atlanta Falcons.
He's even a shred. If he's like me or you, the fact that you just said, like, just dial down a little bit is high. He's triggered by that. I would be triggered by that. If you were like, oh, he's like a fan, but he's just like a little bit less of a fan than me, I'd be like, who the fuck are you telling me that I'm less of a fan than anybody?
Here comes another DM. But yeah, no, the Mets fans have, they took my comment of saying that Lindor was a good little player that they signed. As nice if he's not, as if, what did I say? Nice little player.
Nice little player.
Yeah. So as if he's not one of the best shortstops in baseball, but I guess I didn't portray that in my tone. So I'm going to sit here and apologize to absolutely nobody. Okay. I want you guys to come on here and talk your shit. If you Mets fans have any courage whatsoever, you'll come on the Chop Sports podcast and you'll talk to me and Gooch about Yankees baseball. Okay. We know Yankees baseball like you guys know your Mets. If you want to go position for position, I guarantee you we blow the doors off you. If you want to try to make a point to say, like, the Mets had a couple other decent signings other than Lindor, great. Let me hear it. I know there was. My dad even said it. I was talking to him yesterday. He's like, hey, man, you gotta leave my Mets alone. And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
I like McCann.
Yeah, no, listen, they're gonna be a decent team, but their division and our division are like NFC East and like AFC South. Well, I don't know. A competitive division.
Yeah, where you're going with it.
You know where I'm going with this. The Yankees should steamroll through the AL East.
Well, no,
the Mets.
Tampa's good, but they did lose some pitching.
I don't buy Tampa at all.
Yeah,
but the Mets are obviously dealing with the Braves. They're dealing with the Nationals. They're dealing with tougher teams, and that sucks for Mets fans because you not only have to try to win your division, but you got to try to win a wild card. and that might be kind of tricky, So
Everybody screams pitching with the Mets, but their pitching is just like the Yankees. They're heavy at the one, and then after that's a huge question mark with everybody. Even Syndergaard is hurt. It's not like they have this depth, all this crazy depth.
yeah,
Stroman opted out last year. He hasn't pitched in almost 2 years, right? That could be a benefit. It could be.
Man, he talks a lot of shit.
Good for him, though.
Really though, he got real annoying real quick because I was trying to, I just realized this in this camera angle. It's me, and then it's you next to me. I'm blocking myself. I don't know. I digress.
I'm there with you in spirit.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. But no, like, he talks a lot of shit, and I can get behind a shit talker, but I feel like he talked shit as soon as he got off the plane in New York. Like it was relentless.
He's from New York, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
sure.
I think he grew up a Mets fan, so he's happy to be there. And why not, man? Like, add some excitement to it. Everybody gets a little bent about these baseball players acting a little wild. I think it's fun for the game. If he wants to talk shit, it adds a little. Put it this way: what you're saying right now, you don't like that he's talking shit. We're talking about him because he's talking shit.
That's true.
And it adds excitement. I'm all about it. You need those guys. I think it was somebody else we were talking about in another thread. It was like a Nate Diaz thread. And everyone was like, someone said Connor's like the Mayorga of boxing or of MMA. And you need guys like Mayorga. You need guys that talk shit, the antagonist. You need the Cobra Corbo talking shit to antagonize me.
Cobra Corbo. Yeah, you do need that.
Bro, I got so worked up when I wasn't expecting you to bring it up, and I was like, oh fuck, here we go.
Bro, I never
felt like I was making a walkout.
The neck vein was just like, he doesn't fucking know me, man. Like, I was like, oh Jesus, like, what did I do? But like I said, we're trying to make it friendly, and it got personal because they just were relentless. Just like,
I don't actually take it personal. Just so we're clear, Corbo, I love you, bro. We don't have no beef. This is for fun. I would imagine, right? It's for fun. We don't actually have to do anything crazy, but I don't know.
I will.
I will. Yeah, like I'm with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, yeah. So calling all Mets fans, bring the smoke to the Chop Sports Podcast. So UFC, New York Yankees, Mets, a couple things we wanted to touch on today as we move forward in a new week. It's a big week for us. We're trying to add shows. We're trying to renegotiate with some of our sponsors. We're bringing on new sponsors. So shout out to those guys. Again, Curtis Sells Houses. My God, like, again, I shared one of your listings, by the way. Jesus Christ, where do you find these homes? They're like $1.9 million or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, it's a nice little mother-daughter, and it's $285,000. No, it's like, oh, this one's got a hot tub built underneath the stairwell. It's like, what are we doing here? But he gets it done, man. Curtis Sells Houses. That's the name.
And he's a Packer fan.
I
brought that up once before, but Curtis is a Packer fan. He's a cheesehead, baby.
All right. Again with this, I get it. But seriously, Battle Rattle is making us some freaking furniture at this point. There,
I can't wait
when we get, when we get back,
the wood table for the in front of me, so I don't have to feel so fucking nuts in that studio.
Yeah, something to keep your feet up. You know what I mean? So now we can actually relax a little bit and kick loose. Today's setup was just so weird. I was just like, do I bring the chairs in here? Do I just put them on a desk? Like, it was a very weird feel. I don't like this feeling of being by myself. Okay, so please get well soon, Chris. Thank you very much, or at least not get well soon. You feel fine. So like everything, again, we're just doing this because the CDC tells us to do it. So we're not trying to break any laws or be like, oh my God, he's got COVID and doesn't care. Super spreader event at fucking Level Up Studios. You know what I mean? So we just, we decided, and all the while you're in the editing room and nobody knows it. No, I'm kidding. You're really at home. So, can you imagine if you just walked in? I'm like, oh, hey. But again, it's been another crazy week, but this is what you do. We had to make adjustments on the fly, man. I got a new interface thing. I bought a webcam. I went nuts for this because, of course, you hit the panic button and you're like, we just got the studio. How do we make it better? What do we do? What's the Audible to be called? And I think we did a pretty good goddamn job, Chris.
Yeah. And all things considered, I'm pissed off that I haven't been able to leave this room for 3 days, but we got it done. We're here for the people. The content is what matters.
It is. And I think we can continue to bring all the best content coming up this week. I'm going to finalize the March Madness tournament bracket challenge. Basically, it's very easy. If you're already subscribed to the YouTube channel and you chimed in on the announcement that's on the Facebook page, you're already in. So I'll send you the form.
Once you enter one of these contests going forward with the YouTube specifically, if you enter one of them and you don't win that contest, you're subsequently entered into every single YouTube contest. So subscribing is worth it because there'll be giveaways going forward. So
and that's picked up a lot.
Make that list. Yeah.
Yeah. The YouTube
not bad for the first week. I'm happy with the way it turned.
Yeah, I think we're at 70 plus subscribers. So that means a lot to us. Be sure to subscribe.
We need 1,000. Just so we're clear, everybody.
Yeah, just so we have here's the thing. We have 1,800 members almost in Chop Sports. If 1,000 of you decide to take a half a second of your day and click subscribe, we're all better for it.
If you give me a thumbs down, I've dealt with that already.
That's right. We've dealt with haters already.
I had my troll.
We've dealt with trolls, and yeah, that's always fun.
No, I feel like it's one troll. It seems like several, but all those accounts were made within like 3 hours.
I mean, somebody literally made an account, Chop Sports.
Yeah, Chop Sports, and then it was like Jimmy Whispers, and then it was somebody else the day before. But they were all brand new accounts commenting under his, so it was funny. And he wasn't wrong about the one. I was fucking terrified last week. So,
and now you're in your element because you're home.
I'm still sweating.
Wait, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Wait until the bright lights are back in your face next week, Chris. And then you're just gonna sit there like Garth from Wayne's World.
We'll be good. I'm not worried about it.
So again, guys, like the channel, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, download, rate, review on iTunes for this podcast. Get that growing. We're very, very, very excited to bring on all these new podcasts that are going to be coming onto our network as we expand and get bigger. The weather, watch this, bro. The weather this week.
I know.
Get yourself outside. I know you got to quarantine and stuff, but just go outside.
I can get outside, bro.
Get outside because it's going to be 65 and nice and sunny. And it's just a matter of time before we're doing community events. We're getting more information on the softball. That's going to be a thing. That's 100% happening, whether it's one or two teams. It's going to happen. So keep your eyes open for that. And again, just keep chugging along. And I want to thank everybody who participated in the soft open for the store. But now if you're hearing the sound of our voice, help your boys out a little bit. Buy some merchandise. There's some awesome
and just things. Because you participated in the soft open doesn't mean that you don't have to participate in the hard open.
There you go. That's a very good idea. So for Sturch, that's Gooch over there. Next week we're back in studio. We apologize for this week, but again, we're just trying to do the right thing. We're doing the right thing. So until next time, we'll see you then.